You're listening to Get Real KC with Jen and Eric. Kansas City's consumer-facing real estate podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get Real KC, where we are overflowing with a passion for all things real estate.
You're Eric Jurgensen.
Yeah, is that who I am?
You're Eric Jurgensen.
I am Eric Jurgensen. I was waiting for her to introduce herself. I don't know why she didn't.
Because I normally don't go first, but I'm Jen Justice.
All right, you want to do that again?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's leave it there, all right?
Going on.
All right, so we are here at Lucky 13 Studios in the heart of the Northland here in Gladstone, the new home for Get Real KC, and we are excited to have with us today a short-term rental expert, Susan Brown. Susan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Eric. Great to be here.
Oh, I love it. And I want to address something really quick because we don't typically do podcasts that seem to be centered around investors. So when you look at real estate podcasts, it's always, you can make $1 billion renting and blah, 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 no money down and all of that.
And you can always call me if you have investing questions. I've done it.
Yeah,
I've done a few of those.
There's certainly a lot of investment property at the table right now, a lot of investment property experience, both flip, buy and hold, and short-term rental.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided that it would be a great idea to invite Susan on, who graciously came on, because we've got a pretty significant event coming up in Kansas City, and we're going to need all of the housing we can possibly get. And if you are living under a rock in the Kansas City area, let me help you out. As it turns out, next summer, the World Cup is coming to Kansas City. So,
Yeah, well,
shocking, right? If you didn't know that.
if you've been living under a rock, wait, I put my phone away for this podcast, but there's actually a running World Cup FIFA countdown going now. Mm-hmm. So there's all these FIFA things going on around Kansas City. We're getting briefed on, where the parking locations are, maybe thinking about, going into and all of this.
Where
So
the fan experience is going to be.
Yeah, fan experience.
By the Memorial on the mall and by Union Station.
No real surprise there, I don't feel like. Yeah, that's where Super Bowl stuff happened. That's where Super Bowl parade stuff happened. I mean, that's our spot, I guess, for that.
So now, Susan, tell me, because I've heard this statistic. Tell me if you think this is accurate. I have heard that we are anticipating potentially as many as 650,000 visitors, and we have 65,000 hotel rooms.
Yes, that's alarming.
Yeah,
But that's what I've heard.
Because if you pack in 4 to a hotel room, right, if you were to do that, right, that's still only, 270,000 of the 650,000 people coming here have a place to sleep.
And that's within a 100-mile radius.
So oh my goodness, 100 miles. So, although I would have to say there's probably not a lot of, does that hit Wichita, 100 miles? No, it doesn't.
Hits
That's
Lawrence,
a pretty far
hits
away,
St. Joe, Lawrence, St. Joe.
St. Joe, yeah. So we're going to be in a housing crisis, right? Or at least a short-term housing crisis. We're probably already in a regular housing crisis if you've listened.
It's getting better.
And so one of the things that we realized is that there are probably going to be a whole lot of people who aren't necessarily investors, who don't normally think in terms of, hey, I should open up this extra space in my home or whatever to an Airbnb or a VRBO or to a homestay or whichever one they want to use. And so we thought, hey, since there's probably a much larger portion of our listening area that might consider this during the World Cup, we bring in you, an expert, to kind of answer a whole lot of questions that we have. But tell us a little bit about, because you are heavily involved in a couple of short-term rental organizations, as well as being a short-term rental owner yourself. So tell us a little bit about those organizations and your own experience.
Sure. So I'm the president of the Kansas City Short-Term Rental Alliance, and we formed that group in 2023 after Kansas City, Missouri changed their ordinance and really did a de facto ban on investment properties becoming short-term rentals. You can still, in Kansas City, Missouri, you can still do it in your home, okay, as long as you're sharing a portion of your home. We recently notched a big win against Jackson County. They tried to reclassify all of our properties from residential to commercial. And we stopped that with an ordinance in the Jackson County legislature. So that protects us for 2 more years from that threat. But those are some of the issues that the Kansas City group works on. So the Missouri Vacation Home Alliance, I'm also on that board. I'm the vice president of that board. And that group was formed to work on that same property tax issue. We have a bill pending in the Missouri legislature to preempt county assessors from changing our classification because we feel that we are just like long-term rentals. They're never classified as commercial. Our properties are not only rented short-term, but they are also rented medium-term and long-term. They flow back and forth. So we're working on getting that bill passed. And Chris Brown, Representative Chris Brown, is local here in Kansas City. A good friend. He is our bill sponsor on that, and we feel like we'll be successful with that this year.
Chris also a realtor, so he's got extensive knowledge in the real estate space, and his wife Angela is also a realtor. So,
yep.
A lot of real estate blood in that line.
There is.
Yes.
And he's my representative.
Oh.
But you mentioned that classification. This is not something that somebody who's opening up a room in their home needs to worry about.
We hope not. When the Jackson County assessor did what she did this year, she caught up people that had only maybe rented once or twice in the whole year. She reclassified their homes.
For the entire year?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that it got that bad.
Yes. It's a real threat.
I mean, I
we
see
need to stop it.
Yeah.
But right now, that's
it's
not
hopefully
allowed
getting
to
better.
happen.
That is not allowed to happen until after the World Cup.
Okay.
So
For
in
World
Jackson
Cup, you
County,
don't need to worry about that.
you do not need to worry about it in Jackson County for the World Cup. You should be fine.
All right. So not only are you an advocate, right, with these two organizations, but you also own a fair amount of short-term rentals as an investor.
Yes.
So you certainly are pretty familiar with some of the issues, some of the very particular things that we'll kind of dive into a little bit. Vetting tenants or vetting guests would probably be
Right.
a better way to say that. Security, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
We'll dive into some of those.
Tips and tricks, tools of the trade.
Yeah. So do you have at this point, again, specifically for the World Cup, do you have a projection on, I wonder things like, are only short-term rentals that are geographically close to Arrowhead going to be, or the practice facilities going to be, right? Or could I have one, assuming it's all allowed and we'll get to regulations, but could I have one in Olathe that possibly could be booked, or Warrensburg, or up north? I mean, what kind of demand do you expect there to be?
So today, what's happening today, and when this goes out, when this podcast goes live, is our World Cup crash course. That is a program, an educational program that our two organizations have developed that will answer those very questions. Because right now there's a lot of questions. Everybody has questions on how much should we price our properties for? Will they be going? I mean, we think they'll be going out as far as St. Louis. All because of the shortage that you just talked about earlier. But the real experts will be at this event. It's November 14th and today on the 15th. It's happening. It's finishing up today, but it will be available online. And we will have experts from Airbnb. They have done special events all over the world for many years. They've done Olympics. They did the last Qatar is where they had the last World Cup. So they have a lot of experience. They're going to tell us more about what we need to expect. We've got our experts in pricing, our AirDNA and Price Labs. They will be there at the event leading classes for us. So we'll find out more. But in my personal opinion, yeah, I think with the numbers that we talked about earlier, it will be all over the region, out to Lawrence, up to St. Joe, St. Louis. I think Lake of the Ozarks, possibly Branson.
Oh, wow.
But we'll
they
see.
have a lot of short-term rentals there, so they should hopefully be outfitted for that. But
I think a lot of it depends on if we can get some of the ordinances relaxed here. And they're starting to do that.
So let's hold off a minute and tackle that, because I want to educate our listeners a little bit on sort of the World Cup process, right? A lot of people have heard World Cup, and if they're not into
football,
it's soccer, if they're not into FIFA, they may not sort of know what's going to happen. What they do know is there's construction all over the city that everybody says is for the World Cup.
Mhm.
So what happens is actually on December 5th is when FIFA is going to have their selection. So think draft day, but it's about which teams are playing which teams in which regions. And so at that point, then it's like a round robin at the beginning. I think is it 4 games? Yeah, it's 4 games and 4 matches. Sorry, soccer people. Sorry, football people. And they after that, then the teams will start choosing home bases to bring their teams to. Now, in the Kansas City area, we have 2 in Kansas City and 1 in Lawrence that are feasible. One associated with the Currents practice facility, one associated with Sporting KC, and then I forget who it's. Is it the campus on Lawrence?
I think it's the one of the stadiums over there in Lawrence.
Yeah, and so they're all associated with hotels and everything. One of the things that will impact our need for temporary housing will be which teams select Kansas City for their home base. So teams that have huge, I'm going to continue to say soccer. You guys can rail on me later. Huge soccer followings and that have large populations. Just like Chiefs fans travel well, right? Their fans travel well, and some of them will come well before the match or
set up
when the team does.
They set up, yeah.
And so, if we got Brazil or England or something like that,
Could be huge.
And when I was reading, it was like they have to be here at least 5 days before the first match, which is June 11th. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Ring a bell with either of you?
I've got June 16th as first match.
For the first match, but that's where the 11th came. That's the 5 days.
5 days,
before,
right?
Yep.
Right, but some of them will come significantly earlier, whatever they feel like they need.
June-ish, we'll just call
to
it.
get
June-ish.
ready.
We think many will come in May. We think the VIPs, the early scouts, we think there'll be a lot of people in May as well.
Right.
And then only like the immediate team and their coaches and whatnot get housed in the associated hotel with the practice facility. But then as people travel in for the matches, et cetera, et cetera. So we're talking June 16th at a minimum, probably earlier. Our last match, which is a quarterfinal match, which is on July 3rd. So there's a lot of opportunity here for, I'm not going to want to drive. Well, I was about to say, I'm not going to want to drive to Arrowhead. Let me help you out a little bit. You're not going to go to Arrowhead, the parking lot. You're going to go to a transportation center where they're going to bus you into Arrowhead if, in fact, you can get it.
Yeah, it's going to be so different from what Chiefs fans are used to because they talk about the tailgating all the time. And if you've seen Arrowhead and Chiefs Kingdom, right? Oh, yeah. Big tailgating to do, right? We're told no, not going to happen. So stay tuned.
Parking lots are all used for official events and massive amount of world press that will be here, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, boy.
So
Gearing up, parking lot party. Different kind of parking lot party.
Yeah, just going to be nuts. But I just wanted to let you all know, like, here's the time frame and here's the demand and here's the potential. I have been looking at some of the existing things on those sites for what people have been pricing, right? Because they're already putting out their pricing for those, and some of them are doing whatever you think will maximize your profit. Some of them are doing, hey, it has to be a week-long stay. Some of them are doing, and I'm seeing a lot of these are for full homes, right? So investment properties. But I'm seeing ridiculously high numbers right now.
Well, the tickets themselves are fairly pricey.
I do have something to say about that, Eric. I think for our properties right now, it's in our best interest to open up our calendar. So with Airbnb, for example, you can set it to only open up for the next 6 months or the next year. And we have been advised to put very high prices right now, this far out, until we find out more. I'm waiting to find out what I hear at the crash course about where I should set my pricing. So right now, I'm basically blocking it with those higher prices. So don't take those as gospel. I think you'll see those come down. And I know mine will come down because I can't imagine that people would pay that. But I needed to block it somehow without taking it out of production because you get penalized for that on the platforms. So that might be what you're seeing right now.
Okay. So even at half the prices that I'm seeing, it would be like it's the numbers are so significant. I'm considering doing it myself.
Right.
I would never consider opening up a portion of my home to Airbnb. It's just not, not even, no way.
Well, we've never seen anything like this before in this area. So, I mean,
and I want to just also mention to people that this is not just about what's in it for us. I mean, it is about what's in it for us, but it's not just about that. It's about welcoming our visitors. How would you feel coming to a town if you didn't have a place to stay? I think it's so important. I mean, this is what Kansas City is about. We welcome people. We have these big events. We have Super Bowls. We have NFL drafts now. I mean, this has changed dramatically in the last 5 years or so. And this is what we're known, the hospitality of Kansas City, it's what we're known for, the Midwest. Yeah. And so people, it's not just about the money. It's about welcoming our visitors, making sure that they want to come back. And some of them will want to come back and live here and buy properties from realtors.
Yeah, that's a great point. We do have a couple realtors.
Right here.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because when I was speaking, my wife and I have spoke about it really in preparation for this podcast. I was getting ready and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, what we should do if we do it is we should like offer like a VIP experience where we're like, hey, we'll take you out from the airport. We'll take you to the transportation center.
Love that.
We'll take you out to the best barbecue joints or whatever.
What a great concept.
Oh, yeah.
And that we just...
And that bodes to exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and that would theoretically make us more money, but B, that would get us maybe, and we'll talk about this in a minute. I want to go to regulations before we talk about this, but we thought it might appeal to people that we would be more comfortable having in our home.
Yes.
Right. Because what I don't want is a bunch of, 25-year-old soccer hooligans. And
speaking truth.
Right.
25-year-old soccer hooligan. Soccer hooligan. Sorry. Find another place to party.
Children who want to explore and all of that. And then, I can drop them off and they can go be their hooligans for a few hours like I am at a Chiefs game. And then I come back and I'm generally reasonable.
60-year-old hooligan.
Yeah.
When this comes out, I'll be 61.
Old
man. So let's talk about if we haven't enticed people, let me give them one more thing to entice people to do this. Another thing we've thought about for a couple of years now, doing some upgrades in our home and creating a new space. We have an unfinished basement, and create an actual bedroom and then a bathroom down there, do the egress, do all the things that we're legally supposed to do and make it, just for when people
like a little apartment almost.
Like a little apartment almost when family or whatever comes to visit another space, because we have, we only have one very small sort of guest bedroom. And that's going to cost X number of thousands of dollars. And my thought was, if hosting visitors during World Cup, if I can make that money, it's a wash, right? I mean, I can
help you pay for
improvements done in my house for something that will probably be just as fun for me as it will be for them over a 45-day period.
Well, it's going to improve the value of your home,
right?
Yeah. Right.
So that's another little enticement for you. But now let's get into regulations, because I think that's a concern that a lot of people have.
Yeah, it's thick, isn't it?
It's interesting.
Every municipality has
something different
set of rules. Let's start with the biggest player, which is Kansas City. And so, where's Kansas City stand?
Kansas City, what you just described in your home, Eric, you are good to go. You get your license, call their department, get your license, pay $200, and you can do it in your own home.
And I can do that regardless of whether it's time or not.
Regardless.
Okay.
Yeah. What you cannot do is have a separate freestanding home in a residential zone.
So I can't go buy a house and set it up as a short-term rental.
Correct.
Okay. I used to be able to.
Used to before 2023.
So people who did this before 2023 still can have those.
Those were grandfathered in, yes.
Because right, if I see those out there, I can get on, VRBO or whatever, and I can see them, and I'm like, well, why can't I do that? So the regulations have changed and they grandfathered.
Correct. And you can still do a freestanding in a business zone as long as it's not within 1,000 feet of another one. So that's
in a
theoretically possible in a commercial zone. Only, but not in a residential zone.
Okay.
So like you could build on top of a coffee shop theoretically, as long as there's not another one within
1,000 feet. But 1,000 feet is a long way, and those spots are booked up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People took that idea and ran with it.
So, but
Good idea.
not at the time of recording, but the time of publish of this podcast, we expect Kansas City to have made a change.
Yes, Kansas City is right now, they're introducing what they call a special event ordinance just for the World Cup. And it's for the 90 days starting May 1st to July 30th. I believe this is all subject to change.
Well, you know what? We'll come back in the comments and we'll post the ordinance is what we'll do.
And I think it's for 90. I do know it's for 90 days. And I know that they are going to likely reduce the cost of the registration. So it will be somewhere below $200, which will be good. Just easing it up a little bit. I believe it's still though it's not for investment properties, it's still only in your own home, just making it easier to do it in your own home.
Okay.
Well, which makes sense, right? If we're going to have that kind of demand, right, we're going to need to now. Do we know of any other municipalities? Are they following suit? Are they?
Yes, the first one that did it was Parkville. They've completely relaxed their ordinance, and I know there's been talks in others. The only other ones I know, the only other changes that I know of for now, North Kansas City has a ban, and they decided to keep that in place. So that is not.
Really?
Correct.
So North Kansas City, no short-term rentals.
No short-term rentals. No, and they discussed a special event waiver.
And they
decided against it.
So that's both for.
Really?
That's both for a full home rental and a partial home rental.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm. That is my perception.
Smith, I'll actually call him up and ask him about this after the podcast.
And I had a discussion about that, and he's a great person to talk to. And that's what I think he said. But have I eyeballed the ordinance? I have not. So don't quote me on that.
Okay, well, we'll go back and look at that and try and get
We're going to give people. I think
check with your municipality. Check it yourself. That's absolutely at the end of the day. You're the one that's going to be responsible. So make sure you read all of the fine print, right?
And yes,
you're signing your life away.
You are. And there's a lot of municipalities that do not have they don't have anything in place right now. So there's a lot of places you can do it. It's where it's the Wild West, but you have got to check because these things are changing rapidly.
So what are some other ones that we know of, or at least we know where they were before if they're considering special events? So like I think you had mentioned before we started that Prairie Village has banned short-term rentals.
Prairie Village has banned, but I don't know if they are considering anything
relaxing.
Those are the major. There's not that many that have banned them, so it's really just that handful.
I know, like Smithville, for example, has organized the way that they have them, so they can be in a residential area, but only within so many feet of one another, or block, or something like that. So they put in some regulations like that. But Wyandotte County did a similar ordinance, I think.
Wyandotte County and Independence have pretty involved ordinances. That it takes quite a bit to get a license there, but it's still open.
Right.
So it's just an involved process.
Well, and to be fair, this does promote some transient people coming through the area. And so their concern as a municipality is your trafficking concerns, your drug concerns, your gun concerns, because these can help. I mean, I saw something recently where someone declined a guest and was pretty public about declining the guest for said reasons that they thought it might be involved in something like that. Mm-hmm. So the municipalities are trying to limit their safety exposure for the residents, which is fair. They should. Yeah. I mean, we've got to be cognizant of all the things we're doing. We do want to make money and we do want to promote business and economic development, but we also want our communities to be safe.
Right.
And that's a real good reason to make sure you regulate them. I can tell you what happened in 2023 that got Kansas City to move was the one in, I think it was Overland Park, where they had a huge party and destroyed the house.
Mhm.
Remember that one? Made
Yeah.
news
Oh,
for
I
a
know.
week.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm definitely
certainly
with
watched
you.
a lot of people rage over that.
And there are, that's fair. It's also fair to say there's a lot of shenanigans going on in long-term rentals. But
I know. I'll kick you out right away.
Exactly.
Don't be asking my properties. This is 10-day notice.
But our KC Short-Term Rental Alliance is certainly aligned with regulation. I mean, we came into existence because we were the legally licensed group of owners, and we saw so many taking advantage of it. And do we want overregulation? No, we do not. We want fair regulation. We want this to continue to be a business. This is the a great way. It's a small business. It's a great way for people like myself, retirees that are looking to supplement our income. These are all small business owners. So the average owner of a short-term rental only owns 1.2 properties. That's basically their own home. And in many, many cases, it can help people keep their homes, stay in their homes, keep their mortgages paid. So it's critical that we get this right and not overregulate it. But absolutely need health and safety regulations, need that sort of thing to keep everything in good shape.
No, that's a really good point. I mean, being able to stay in your home, increasing costs, but this is a way to supplement the income, just 1 or 2 weekends a month or something like that, if it fits. That's a perfect fit for somebody to be able to stay in their home longer.
Yeah.
Tell me about, and I realize there's a billion of them and they'll have a billion different sets of rules. But, we start thinking about like myself, like I do this. And so I was not up to speed on, I had only was really paying attention to what had happened at 23 in Kansas City, which is where I live. Ted, how about HOAs?
So that's a great question. Most HOAs typically do ban them. So I will say that I think you can absolutely go to your HOA or your building. You have a lot of people in condominiums, those sorts of things. You can absolutely go to your HOA, or if you're on the board, think about it. Talk to the people. I mean, it's a democracy. Talk to everybody. I think if the majority are in favor of doing this, relax the rules, but you're going to have to go through that board and get the rules changed.
And that would probably in an HOA require some sort of bylaws change and maybe even possibly a deed record difference, something like that. So it could become kind of involved.
To turn one into an investment property, to turn one into, hey, I'm going to let somebody stay in my home for a period of 6 weeks.
Depending on whether they have a ban on it, though.
Right. I'm just saying is you probably don't need to change a deed for, because I'm not going to vacate my home.
Right, true.
That's the people.
I'm talking about the recorded covenants. I'm sorry, I said deed and that was wrong. So, yeah.
Well, I look at it similar to this. My previous business to this was I was in the solar energy business. We did rooftop solar, mostly for commercial, but in the early days we did residential. And there were a lot of meetings at HOAs because back in those days, they thought they would impact property values.
That's what I know about property values. Those things are ugly.
Yes.
Oh, I can't have those on my roof.
Exactly.
How about personal preference?
Exactly.
Right.
So we did a lot of meetings with for residents at their HOAs, educating. You just have to educate people because they're nervous about things they don't know anything about. And that's, again, a great, bring them to our crash course or have them look at the crash course online after we have it so they can get more familiar with what we're talking about.
All right. So I'm a homeowner. I have a situation in my home where if it were lucrative enough and if I were only really committing to it for a short period of time, this might be something I would consider. I have zero experience with hosting sites, but I'm smart enough to where I can go through and do whatever. Do those cost, by the way? Do they charge?
Yeah, Airbnb, the platforms, yes.
VRBO, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a cost associated with that. How do I vet tenants? Right, as we talked about, like if I do this, I want the family that's got
the nicest, best, most well-behaved person I could get.
I want a couple of 40, 50, or 60-year-olds, and maybe their kids or grandchildren that they're bringing to the World Cup. And, I want somebody who's who's not going to approach sports a whole lot different than I am, that I'm also comfortable in interacting with and having in my space. How do I do that?
So I would say you can do it yourself. You can absolutely do it yourself. I really, and I know I keep saying this, come to the crash course, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to educate you how to do that. You can get a property manager. We'll have some property managers there at the classes, but you can hire a property manager that can help you with it, or do it yourself on the platform. And sorry, you go ahead. I know I keep interrupting you. When you use, let's say you're using just Airbnb.
Okay. It's probably the most popular one for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. You'll get an inquiry. I'd like to stay. You can look at their profile. You can look at how many, the beauty of it. The reason Airbnb has worked for all these years, and I do it in my basement as well, similar to what setup that you're talking about. I've got a separate entrance, everything. It's in my basement. So I'm living above these people. But they inquire about the house, and I can look before we accept them and see how many 5-star ratings they have. What have the reviews been? That's what the beauty of Airbnb has been all these years. They review us as a host, and we review them. So before they even attempt to book our place, they can look at all of our reviews and our ratings, and we can also look at all of theirs. And so that is very helpful in deciding who you want to allow to stay with you.
Are you on that platform in particular? Are you allowed to communicate with them before you accept?
Yes, you can have a conversation. Hey, what are you doing in town? What's going on? How's it going? Now, there's different settings. You can set it up as an automatic book where they can so it's whatever your comfort level is. It really has, it's the reason, they're a huge company now, and that there's so much competition. VRBO is doing it. Booking.com is another platform that we use because it works. I'm very comfortable but I've done it for a lot of years, and I'm hoping to transfer that to others through this educational event.
Well, that's the tips, obviously, to really get involved and get all the tips.
Right.
It's going to be more than our podcast, but.
Right.
But even just knowing that, these are things I didn't know, because I've never hosted a short-term rental. Can I have that conversation, right? I'll get
having noise meters, things like that.
We have noise monitoring. You can have cameras, but we only outside.
Right, only outside cameras.
We've got
a ring doorbell. That kind of stuff is permissible, but inside of the home while people are staying there, no, not cool.
No, it's not allowed.
Not cool.
And what else was I going to say on that particular one?
Have cameras all over. On the outside.
You're going to have to, yeah. What do you call the automatic, you've got here.
Keypad locks.
Oh, yes. And so you change them after every person.
Oh, yeah, super. Yeah, we have those in the office now, too.
Exactly.
Automatic. Everybody gets their own code. We know who's going to coming and make it easy for your guests.
It is.
Yeah.
It's super easy, and it does. It gives you
technology
peace of mind.
has served us this.
It gives them peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I do. It's so fun. I have a short-term rental in Florida. I don't know if I shared that with you or not.
No, I didn't know that.
I have one in Cape. I've talked about it on the podcast a couple of times.
It's easy.
Yeah. I'm independent. I still am just jacking around.
Do you do it yourself?
I am 100% doing it myself still.
Okay.
One day I'm going to jump off the Airbnb VRBO ledge, but it ain't today.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. And I would assume that how important, again, your gut, right? You're going to bring in a variety of experts, and they're all going to share their opinions. But if you were doing this just for this period of time, I would let me back up. I would assume that you, on all of your short-term rentals, you're on multiple platforms.
Correct.
Is, in your experience, Airbnb the largest and the one that most
Yes.
people look to? So if I were just picking one, that's the one you would recommend.
I would.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to do this for 6 weeks, I don't want to be out hundreds of dollars to each platform. And
Right.
if I were doing it for a long period of time, that would make sense.
What are the major differences in the platforms? Are there?
So, and out hundreds of dollars, you won't be out hundreds of dollars. They charge a percentage. So
Isn't it
it's just
when
a
somebody
percentage.
books?
Right. There's only a percentage when they book.
By downloading the app and creating a profile, which I have done that, by the way, but I think I created it on VRBO.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm curious, like the difference in VRBO versus Airbnb versus now Booking.com, you said.
Right.
Those are probably your big three.
They are the big three. And we're on all of them. My property manager handles all of that piece of it. I do my own home, but I only do it on Airbnb.
Okay.
To your point, they've got, 80% of the market share? Don't quote me on that. VRBO is a good platform. I do feel like Airbnb does a better job. They do a lot of guest verification and guest vetting.
Oh, good
and
to
I
know.
will say that I think Airbnb does a better job at that than
like
some of the
finding a
other
bot
platforms.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Like finding a fake.
Well, and some of the issues that you mentioned before.
Okay.
I
They're
think
not going to let them stay on that platform.
Right.
If they are known. I wonder how they do all
Airbnb
that
does a good
fact-checking.
job.
That's just Jen's mind going hamster on the wheel crazy over here.
I don't know. But
Hey,
when
thanks for doing it.
when our association hears about issues with guests that you kind of like what you mentioned before, it's almost always on those other smaller platforms.
Oh, good to know.
Mhm.
Good to know, Susan.
So,
I like to
if I
know
were
this
you-
information.
And I'm not endorsing
This is
one over
personal
the
experience.
other.
Personal
This
experience.
is just personal experience. And if you're just doing it for a short period of time, they've been here the longest and they do a good job.
All right. Good to know.
Make it simple.
Whoever comes to visit, they're not going to be Americans.
Right.
And so, and of course, you can't tailor any suggestions until we know. And by the way, just because there might be two teams here in Kansas City, one in Lawrence, there's going to be some in St. Louis too that might end up. I forget how many teams play. Is it 4 teams that play in the?
Man, you guys are going to make me pull up the FIFA. I'm pulling
anyway,
up the FIFA.
I don't know.
And then we have a division match, but then we have a quarterfinal match, which could be 2 completely different countries.
Yes.
Competing. Do you have any experience or any tips of dealing with
I do.
people from a different country?
Yes. So we have also had, I've seen World Cup committee personnel speak at various events. I know Jen has as well. And we have Tracy Welpe coming to our event, to our crash course. So she'll talk about it. We also have someone from that was a host in the Qatar Games. So the last World Cup, Qatar. I may be saying that wrong.
I might be saying it wrong.
Good job,
But
everyone.
in case.
Qatar.
We're not sure.
And they're going to talk to us about those experiences. But in general, I've heard from the World Cup committee that 54% will be international and the majority will not speak English. And I've had my own experiences. We had a Turkish couple that stayed with us a few months ago. And the Airbnb, embedded in the Airbnb app, is a translator. So that messaging that you talked about, that we message each other, you want to stay in the Airbnb app at all times for safety's sake. And I thought that did a much better job with Turkish than Google, because we also tried to communicate with.
Wow.
We communicated at times in person, in the backyard. And the Google app was not as good as the Airbnb app. So I would say that's an endorsement for their translation.
Wow.
And then the other thing we've heard is that Americans really are in the minority drinking coffee. Most of the rest of the world drinks tea. And so we're recommending that everybody get those electric tea kettles.
Well, I have some of those.
Right?
Good news. I'll give you one.
And
I probably got 2 or 3.
my Turkish people asked for that. My Turkish group asked for that. So we're going to do that. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things. I had a couple other things.
I know I'm not finding
was it.
the number of games, but I am finding that it's 217 days, 10 hours, 9 minutes, and 4 seconds as the countdown goes.
Woo.
So,
Well, we've got four matches. We've got the round of 32 on July 3rd and the quarterfinal on July 11th.
oh
So
boy,
6 matches total.
that's wild.
And if I looked it up, I think the round of 32 is at least a guarantee of one of the teams that we're playing in the 4 will play here, and maybe both, but then the quarterfinal could be anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So December 5th, you said, right? I put that date in my calendar. I think
We should know maybe a few days later is what I've heard, but right around there.
Playing here, we won't know who picks here as a home base. right? And
I forget when we get to know that. Do you remember?
I think that they said January.
yeah, because
The suspense.
well, it seems I think they have to. There's a
Bidding processes.
there's a bidding process and a pecking order, and FIFA controls all of that.
Probably meant how many games you win, when you get picked. Yeah.
Some
We
teams
don't get to pick the Super Bowl with the NFL. I mean, I don't understand this difference here. This is,
well, but so here's what I remember because we went to a World Cup thing about a year ago, and they were trying to explain this to us, and they're like, okay, some teams will pick based on proximity. Some teams will think that they're going to go deep in the tournament, so then they know after their round of 4 they're going to be all over the country, so they'll pick maybe for location or for the nature of the airport or because they think they're going to be flying all over the country a lot. So there's a lot of factors and some teams will pick cities because they think they're a better cultural blend.
and then some people are really smart and they're going to analyze all of this and
right. So
they're at the top of the FIFA or the World Cup or the team or whatever.
Just because we have, I don't know what country would be, just because we have Germany here doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to pick Kansas City as a home base and vice versa, right? Kansas City is great geographically. You're going to end up having to go to
all the other places.
So we've got,
we are centrally located,
no doubt. Spots in Canada, if I remember correctly. There's Los Angeles,
Mexico City.
Mexico City. So we're pretty set so that we could be in demand, and we only have a couple of spaces. So who knows?
Yeah.
So you've been doing Airbnbs for a while. We're running out of time. I do want to, and I'll let you say this, and then we'll also have it up on the screen for our YouTube viewers. But tell us, we were talking about if I need to find what my municipality is doing, ultimately I should go to my municipality. But if I want to start and look at maybe, the broad picture of things, where do I go to get that again?
The Mid-America Regional Council keeps a list on their website, and it has a link to each municipality that has an ordinance. And then you can go straight to that link and see what the ordinance is like. Yeah. But what you just said, you still got to call your municipality.
They may not be up to date with people that are municipalities that are doing temporary changes specifically for the World Cup.
And do they need to call the city and the county?
I think it's just the only if you're unincorporated.
Okay.
Like if you're not in a city, then you need to call your county.
You need to call your county.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's your city trumps the counties.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you're in a city, make sure you're calling the city and asking them, "Hey, just checking."
Yep.
And then I'm assuming that the Kansas City Short-Term Rental Alliance and the Missouri organization will probably have pertinent information. It's also where you can go to find out information about the crash course. How would I do that?
So that is MOVA.org, Missouri Vacation Home Alliance.org is the only website you need to go to for our state group.
MOVHA.org.
Correct.
And it's got information about the crash course, getting the recording, and then you're potentially doing another one in January.
Right.
Fingers crossed. Since I'm going to be in National Association.
Yes, I think we will do it again. I hope we can do it again in January. I will say that our KC Short-Term Rental Alliance, we have a private Facebook group, so you can search for us there.
Okay.
Good.
We like to finish our podcasts with some fun, exciting, crazy, whatever story we've heard. We're like really fun, cool stories. We've heard about people
dead bodies in an house.
You'd be crazy. So what's your crazy story? I bet you have a ton of them. So I bet you had to pick a few.
Oh, my crazy short-term rental story.
Yes.
I think it was the time that we had to replace almost every appliance in the home. Someone, they dented in the top of the oven. So they sat on the oven or did something, and they used so much grease in their cooking that they gunked up the dishwasher and ruined the washing machine. So that's the craziest story I have. But that's okay. There's insurance.
Golly. So do you have a provision now that prevents them from cooking like that? Or?
No, but I did. Okay, so you and I are both, Eric said that you like organic and healthy.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't use grease in my cooking, and I never even thought about it. I have now bought these fancy on Amazon grease canisters, so they'll have a place to put their grease. We haven't had a problem since then.
Maybe I should find out some of your rentals too, honestly.
Yeah.
Share the link, Susan.
There you go.
Buy a grease canister, friends.
Grease
It will
canister.
save you so much money down the line. Your garbage disposals will thank you. Your washing machine.
Yes.
Apparently, I've never heard that before. I have had ovens ruined from that before.
I don't know what the heck you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
How do you not have a place to put your bacon grease?
It's a real deal that people just either pour it down the drain or, unfortunately that does happen. So please don't do that.
With me, bacon grease, right? I use a Cool Whip container in the refrigerator, and then you can use
Or it used to be a Folgers can. My mom used to have a Folgers can.
Folgers can. Well, without 10 Folgers cans.
Well, wait, yeah.
You can actually, as long as you don't put it in hot, you can use the plastic Folgers things.
What? Okay, good to
if
know.
It's not hot. Yeah.
You gotta let it cool off.
Good to know.
Well, that was an expensive and kind of a headache learning
That
lesson. I'm
was.
sorry you had that.
Yeah. Luckily, 99% of our guests are fabulous. I love this. I love what I do. I love welcoming people, and
Same with rentals.
it is
99% of you are awesome, but that 1% boy, can y'all please?
It's funny. It's only the 1% I hear about.
Yeah, I know. I wish. Let's just do our best to continue helping and educating and spreading the good word. Yeah.
All right, there it is, folks. Another great episode of Get Real KC. Until next time.
You have been listening to Get Real KC with Eric Jurgensen and Jen Justice. For more information or to contact our hosts, visit us at dreamhomesbyjen.com, where you can find more episodes exploring real estate as it matters to you.